the coach. And I'm going to tell you, one thing was evident tonight. Caitlin Clark has decided she's installing her own offensive system for the Indiana Fever. And it is watch me play make. Watch me roll.
That is a heavy accusation. The #1 pick installing her own offense around the head coach. But look closer at tonight in Indianapolis. The Fever won. The real story is hiding somewhere else entirely.
And she's not hesitating, and she's firing. She's firing. She got herself a double-double tonight. We were on triple-double watch until, of course, the one person that was able to play defense on her, Stephanie White, took her out of the game, and the triple-double dream was set aflame.
21 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, 5 of 10 from the floor, 24 minutes of court time. On paper, that is a star line from Caitlin Clark against the Seattle Storm. She was on triple-double watch, and the person who ended the chase was not wearing a Storm jersey. It was the woman on her own bench.
Did update the attendance. Wow. Guys, this happened in real time when the game ended, because it was not up. I just checked it 5 minutes ago. 14,505 attended the game. I believe in the regular season, that is officially the least attended game in which Caitlin Clark has played.
14,505. That is the announced attendance at Gainbridge Fieldhouse tonight. The arena holds north of 17,000, almost 3,000 empty seats for a Caitlin Clark home game. This is not a Tuesday night in a low-market arena. This is the league's biggest draw, in her own building, with the lights on. Something changed.
There were $8 tickets for this game. Wow. Okay. So, right here, one thing I wanted to show you, obviously, Caitlin Clark, guys, she set a bit in the second quarter, and then she set a bunch in the fourth quarter. You notice what was in common here? Seattle, with no stars. There's no superstars on this team. There's no stars on this team.
$8 tickets. For Caitlin Clark. Sit with that one. The same player whose road appearances drive resale prices into 3 figures was selling at home for less than a movie ticket. And look at the opponent across from her. A Seattle Storm roster the host of Black and White Sports just called the worst in the league. No stars, no name recognition. The casual fan in Indianapolis looked at that matchup and stayed home.
So, Caitlin Clark at the half, 16 points, 6 assists, 1 block. She is the system, correct. That is correct. Caitlin Clark converts a pass from Michaela Timpson. Let's check it out. KK was she was grinding tonight. Nice little lay-in after the steal. Timpson is coming along, folks. Don't look now. She is coming along.
Pay attention to the rhythm in that sequence. That is the Caitlin Clark of Iowa. That is the player who set the all-time NCAA scoring record before walking into the W last May. The deep three is back. The long-range pull-up that disappeared for stretches earlier this season is finding the bottom of the net again. Her teammate finishes the play. Sophie Cunningham is on the floor to enjoy it. The offense, when Clark runs it, looks like a different sport.
Caitlin Clark finding her 3-ball early. Guys, Caitlin Clark's got her 3-point shot back. And that's probably the best thing that has come out of all of it, is she's knocking this down. Boom, finally. And she hit some more long threes tonight. Right here, let's check this out.
Like coming out of a timeout.
This is going to be Sophie blocking a shot, and then, bless her heart, celebrating. That's so good. So good. Sophie really showed up tonight.
That is Sophie Cunningham announcing herself on a Friday night. 17 points on 5 of 9 shooting in 25 minutes. A defensive play coming out of a timeout that lit up the entire Fever bench. Add Kelsey Mitchell to the mix. 17 points of her own on 8 of 18 shooting. And listen to this number, 2 assists. The host treated as a comedic event because Mitchell is a career scorer who almost never registers helpers. That detail tells you exactly how this offense is being run and who is running it.
You might be like, Rhodes, you're not over the moon. No. This Seattle team's not good. They should have beat them, okay? I'm happy that Caitlin Clark looks like Caitlin Clark again. I'm happy Caitlin Clark has taken it upon herself to go out there and say, watch me cook. I said online, I said on Twitter, when she's playing in her system, the league can't hold her.
There is the unvarnished take. The Fever won by 11 against arguably the thinnest roster in the league, and the verdict from inside the fan base is restrained applause. Why? Because Seattle outscored Indiana in the second quarter and the fourth quarter. The minutes Clark spent on the bench, the lead shrank. The second unit, even with Cunningham now in it, still has not found its footing. Aaliyah Boston did not play tonight. The injury was not specified on the broadcast. The front court is thin and the depth chart is asking too much of the players still standing.
Her coach takes her out of the game. The triple-double chance just obliterates. We all know what's going to happen there. Stephanie White, we're taking injury precautions. Look, if a player is healthy enough to play, and they're healthy, and this is how I look at it in any sport. If they are healthy enough to play, they need to play. Play them. Play them. So
this is where it gets uncomfortable. Stephanie White, the head coach, took Caitlin Clark out of the game with her sitting on a double-double and a realistic chance at a triple-double on her home floor. The official line will be load management. The harder question is whether a 24-minute night was already locked in regardless of what was happening on the court. Because the pattern fans have been tracking for weeks is real. Clark looks like a system unto herself when she is in the game, and the offense stalls the minute she sits down. Tonight just put another data point on the board.
That's my opinion. By the way, I may have a video tomorrow. There was some kind of venom on Venom Reacts. Go subscribe. He caught Caitlin Clark, Stephanie White in some kind of a verbal altercation. And I watched the video. So I may do a video on that in the morning. Guys, make sure you hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're still subscribed. Peace. I'm out.
Let me bring all of this together, because the surface story tonight buries what actually happened. Start with the attendance. 14,505 announced, in a building that holds roughly 17,274. That figure is being reported as the lowest regular season home attendance of the Caitlin Clark era. Read that twice. The single most marketable athlete in the WNBA. In her second professional year, in her home market, on a Friday night in a building selling $8 walk-up tickets, could not fill the seats against the Seattle Storm. This is not a referendum on Clark. Her road appearances still move secondary market prices into territory the league has never seen. This is a referendum on the visiting team and on the perceived quality of the matchup. Seattle came in carrying a roster without a single name that moves a needle in 2026. The casual Indianapolis fan, the one who paid full freight last year to watch Clark face the Liberty or the Aces, looked at this opponent and made a different decision. Now layer in the on-court story. Caitlin Clark put up 21, 10, and 7 in 24 minutes. Efficient shooting at 5 of 10. Her three-point shot was back. She was facilitating, finishing, and running the offense in a way that the host of Black and White Sports described as her installing her own system. Whether that reads as a compliment to Clark or a complaint about Stephanie White depends on where you sit. What it is not is a controversy invented by content creators. Anyone watching the Fever this season has seen the difference between Clark-initiated possessions and second-unit possessions. The team plays faster with her on the floor. The shot quality is better. The spacing opens up. Watch any Fever game and pay attention to what happens during the minutes she sits. The pattern is consistent. That is the context for the triple-double that did not happen tonight. Clark at 21 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. 3 rebounds away from a milestone, in a winnable game against an outmatched opponent. on her home floor, in front of a crowd already short of capacity. And Stephanie White pulled her. The justification will be the standard one: rest, precaution. The score was already in hand. The counter-argument, which the host advances directly, is simple. If a player is healthy enough to play, you play her. Particularly your franchise player. Particularly when she is closing in on a stat line that drives merchandise sales, highlight reels, ticket sales, and the broader cultural moment that has carried this league for 2 seasons running. Indiana has now had multiple games where Clark sat with a triple-double inside reach. That is a coaching pattern, not an accident. This is where that brief mention at the end of the broadcast becomes the story to watch heading into tomorrow. The host references a reaction video alleging a verbal exchange between Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White at some point during the game. I am not in a position to confirm what was said or when. What I can tell you is that the body language between coach and franchise player in post-game sequences has been a subject of fan analysis for months now. Some of that analysis is fair. Some of it is wishful thinking from people who want a controversy. But the underlying tension is structural, and it is real. A head coach is responsible for managing minutes, managing health, and managing a roster. A player whose individual brilliance is propping up the commercial operation of an entire league has incentives that point in a different direction. Those two things were always going to collide. Add Aaliyah Boston's absence to the picture. The interior scorer and rebounder the Fever built around before Clark arrived did not play tonight. The injury was not specified on the broadcast. What we do know is that Indiana is running short on front-court help. The bench is still developing, and Sophie Cunningham is being asked to carry second-unit minutes that were not part of her job description when she arrived. Tonight she delivered. 17 points, 5 of 9 shooting. That block coming out of a timeout that triggered a celebration loud enough to hear through the broadcast feed. Cunningham is going to be a story this season either way. Tonight she was the closest thing this roster had to a second engine on the floor. Kelsey Mitchell deserves the same close look. 17 points, but on 8 of 18 shooting, which is not efficient, 2 assists, which the hosts singled out as a near miracle. The fact that the broadcast made a joke of her assist count tells you everything about the offensive structure of this team. Clark touches the ball. Clark distributes the ball. Everyone else finishes. When that pattern breaks. When Mitchell is the one creating. When the second unit is moving the ball without Clark on the floor. The offense slows down, and Seattle outscores them in 2 separate quarters of a game they had no business making competitive. So where does this leave the Fever right now? They have a healthy Caitlin Clark playing the best basketball of her young professional career. They also have unanswered questions about coaching philosophy, bench depth, front court health, and front office direction. And they are playing in front of 14,500 fans at home, which means the goodwill from last season's playoff run is not infinite. The league office can pretend the empty seats are a Seattle Storm scheduling issue. They are not. They are a roster construction problem and a marketing problem the WNBA has yet to solve in year 2 of the Caitlin Clark era. Here is the question for the comments. Was Stephanie White right to pull Caitlin Clark with a triple-double in reach against a team Indiana was already beating? Pick a side. If you think the coach made the correct call, tell me why. If you think Clark earned the extra minutes, tell me why. And if you want to follow up tomorrow on the alleged verbal exchange between coach and player, hit the like button so the algorithm knows to push this conversation forward. Subscribe if you have not already. We will see you on the next one.